don't see Jennifer Broughton. You have a number for Jennifer Broughton? I'm gonna either have to reset it or do something, because I think there's a motion for mom to return. Thank you. Nope, there she is. Thank you. All right, good afternoon. Sorry for delaying and started. The next case on the court docket is CV 2012499. This is in the interest of Delana Hall, Jonathan Bell, and Theodore Jameson children. The case is set for an initial permanency hearing today, and the hearing is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is to engage case manager Amanda Poole, Supervisor Tracy Perry, and Brown County Attorney Shane Britton. The mother, Jessica Hall, is participating in the hearing with her attorney, Lonnie Lappy. The father of the children, Delaney and Jonathan, is Jonathan Bell. He is not currently in the courtroom. An attempt to personally serve him was made on January 15, 2021. The father of the child, Theodore, is Theodore Jameson. He has entered an appearance in the case. He is not currently participating in the hearing today. The court would take judicial notice of the court file to the extent it reflects that neither Mr. Bell nor Mr. Jameson has filed any request of the court for a court-appointed attorney and non-attorney purporting to represent them has entered an appearance in the case on their behalf. Jennifer Broughton is present as the attorney and guardian ad litem for the children. Also participating in the hearing today is the caregiver of the children, I believe, Whitney Schultz. The children are excused from participating in today's hearing. If we're ready to proceed, Mr. Britton, I'm going to ask Ms. Poole, Ms. Hall, and Ms. Schultz, if each of you could raise your right hands, please. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
I do.
All right, all right, Mr. Britton.
Judge, I'm going to call Ms. Poole.
All right.
Ms. Poole, you are the permanency case manager for To Engage.
Yes, sir.
You are assigned to the case involving the Hall, Bell, Jameson children.
Yes, sir.
My understanding is mom's been doing very well.
Is doing very well. She's worked all her services, had a lot of behavioral changes for the good. She's employed and doing really well.
Good. How far away are we from the kids going home to mom?
Well, actually, the two oldest children, Delana Hall and Jonathan Bell, were placed back with mom on June 29th as regards due to the caregivers requesting that the two oldest children be removed from their home. So we discussed with Ms. Broughton and my supervisors, and we decided to place them back on a monitor return with mom.
Okay. So I knew they'd been placed back, but you're ready to recommend to the court that this be a formal monitor return.
Yes, sir.
And then after some period of time, then you're going to recommend that the younger child be placed there as well?
Yes, sir. The department would like him returned to mom as soon as possible with the siblings on a monitored return.
Well, are you ready to do that now, or are you wanting to wait?
I believe, as we discussed yesterday in those recommendations of some investigators, that we place him back with mom as well.
Okay, so we're ready,
Yes, sir.
ready to do it just as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now tell me about dads. I mean, is there any dad out there that's really working hard and trying to do the right thing that we need to be working with as far as arranging some visitation between the children and him?
Well, in regards to Mr. Jonathan Bell, we've still been able to know his whereabouts somewhere in the Metroplex, but never had any contact with him. Theodore Jamison II was involved in the beginning of this case, and then we all kind of lost contact with him. I did make contact with him. He reached out to me back in like April, advising me he was really ready to work some services, towards his plan and everything. He did have one visit with his son, Theodore Jamison, and then the next time he did not show up for visit, and he has no longer have any contact with him.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Lappy, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Broughton. Any questions?
Ms. Poole, what sorts of visitation has Theodore been doing with his mom up until this week?
Yes, ma'am. Every Wednesday in the month of June, him and his siblings had a 2-hour unsupervised visits with mom. She would pick him up at the caregiver's house and take him to do things and return them to the caregivers. Since the older two have been placed back, she did have a 2-hour visit last Wednesday, unsupervised, with Theodore. And yesterday she had a 4-hour unsupervised visit with Theodore.
And you understand that my request was that Theodore do some overnights and some weekends, kind of building up to the formal placement, as opposed to going from 2 hours to full-time back with mom. You understand that was my request?
Yes, ma'am.
But you're wanting to place him today, right now, immediately, without any kind of a buildup. Is that what you're asking?
I believe that's what the department is wanting.
So yes, that's what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. And is that common to do that in cases where we go from 2-hour visits to living back in the home full time?
No, this is the first time since I'm new to the department, the first time I'm doing a monitored return.
Okay.
I know they do have step-up visitation plans where they usually start at 2 hours, 4 hours, and so forth.
Yeah, and then we might do one overnight every
Yes, ma'am.
Saturday night, and do a full few weekends, and then ultimately do a full placement if that goes well. Is that kind of it's more of a standard way of how this comes about?
Yes, ma'am, as a step-up visitation plan, yes.
But you're not in agreement with doing a step-up visitation?
I mean, it's whatever the judge orders. I mean, that's fine if we want to do a step-up visitation plan, but I feel it's in the best interest for him to be placed back with his siblings. But
have you spoken to Melody Huggins, Theodore's therapist, about this?
No, I have not.
And were you aware through me that she was also recommending a step up?
I object any hearsay from a therapist that isn't going to be here with us.
I'll sustain it the way the question was phrased.
Were you aware that I had spoken to the child's therapist?
Yes, ma'am. You and I had communication, and you had advised me of that.
And is there a teenage child that's also in the home with the mom?
Yes, the mother's oldest child was placed back with her in January of 2021 by investigations.
And how old is that child?
She's 17.
Now, has the placement reported to you that when that 17-year-old attended visits, there were some behaviors that Theodore was having after those visits?
Yes, they expressed that to me.
And did you communicate with the mom that the teenager doesn't need to be present at these visits, at least initially, with Theodore?
I had advised her of that.
And she was not willing to cooperate with that. She still had the teenager there. Is that correct?
Yes, because the teenager lives in her home, and that's where she would take her children to her new apartment for their visits.
Okay. I don't have any other questions for this witness, Judge.
All right, thank you. Mr. Britton, any additional questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Lappy, any additional questions?
When you did your safety plan and the meeting of the department yesterday, whenever that was, the feeling was that it was safe to return the little one, and the children could all be together.
That was their recommendations, yes, sir.
Pass this witness, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions from Ms. Fowler? Ms. Poole.
Recommendations from whom?
We had a risk staffing yesterday in regards to the caregivers, the placement with the caregivers due to the open investigation that was opened up on June 25th. So we had the staffing yesterday, and they also have some concerns with him being in that placement. And it was their recommendation that he possibly be placed back with mom and the siblings.
And there have been, since mom has started unsupervised visits, there have been 3 call-ins that mom has called into CPS about the placement. Is that correct?
No, ma'am, I'm not aware of any call-ins by the mother on the caregivers.
Okay. Someone called in an alleged drug use by the placement, correct?
Yes.
And that wasn't the mom?
Objection, Judge. She can't.
I'll sustain the objection if it's a
Reporter.
if we're talking about a reporter.
I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Are any other witnesses, Mr. Britton?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Lappy, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Broughton?
I don't have any witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. Any closing relating to what I understand to be a motion for mom to return the children of the department, Mr. Britton?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Lappy?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Broughton?
And Judge, my request has been, since this issue came up about a week ago, was that Theodore have some step-up visitations, start overnights and then weekends, and within 30 days have him home full-time, assuming all of those go well. That's been my request all along. So I would re-urge that today.
All right, thank you. All right, the court will continue the department as temporary managing conservator of the children. The court is going to approve a transitional monitor return of the children with the 2 children, Delaney and Jonathan Bell, approved to go ahead and be placed in the home on the monitor return, and the transition of Theodore to progress as outlined by Ms. Broughton in her recommendations. The department is to schedule an overnight visit and then a couple of weekend visits, and then the child will be placed within a 30-day time period from the day, assuming the visits otherwise progress appropriately. The court will vacate the, let me look at this and see. Well, I'm going to leave the cases, the settings in the case for now set until I recalculate the dismissal date for the case. The next hearing in the case right now will be September 9th, 2021 at 9:45. The trial for now will remain November 11th, 2021 at 2:30. And the dismissal date will be December 6th, 2021, subject to the monitor return approved by the court. Ms. Hall, I'm required to notify any parent in this type of case that because of the nature of these proceedings with parental custodial rights and duties to your children are subject to restriction or even termination, and progress on any court orders or planned service will be reviewed at future hearings in this case.
Yes, sir.
That said, the department's there to try to monitor how the children are doing in your care. They have the right to come to your home, make announcements, announce visits. They even have the right to remove the children if they feel it's necessary to protect the children's welfare. But they're also there to help support it and make it work. So I'd encourage you to visit with them about any issue you're having so they can try to help you address those. All right. With that, unless there's anything else, we'll be adjourned. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
Your Honor,
Mhm.
oh, Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me an idea when the 2 o'clock one might start, about how long that might be?
No, honestly,
Oh,
I can't. We're running behind, and I have another hearing starting actually about 15 minutes ago.
okay,
So I'm running behind. I suspect it'll be running a little late.
okay.
So, yeah.
I was gonna see if I had time to run the lunch with my brother. That's my brother's case.
Okay, well, I apologize, but I honestly can't give you anything I told you would probably not be right.
I understand.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're adjourned.